Hello, and welcome to another edition of Simply Free Little Talk. I'm your host, Free Little, and I am so excited to welcome back to the Simply Free Little Talk Miss Seneca Dunmore. She's an international speaker, and she is the author, the creator of Access Granted. And she's going to tell you all about financial knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that she has in regards to what she is spreading across the country. Information that business owners from near and far need to know that you do not have to be alone and you do not have to struggle. So, I want to say thank you to the faithful listening audience, the viewing audience that tunes in. Thank you so much. Your presence is so appreciated. And also my sponsors of Come On Man Creole Cajun Seasoning. I thank you so much for all that you do and the other sponsors as well. So here's Miss Seneca Dunmore. Miss Seneca
Hey,
Dunmore.
hey.
Yes, you made it. You
How you
made
do?
it.
Yes, and you see I'm all bundled up because it's a little chilly here
Yes,
on the East
it's
Coast.
chilling. Oh my God, I'm so glad that you said all of that because you've been traveling all over. Before we even get started with Access Granted,
Yes.
I want everyone to be aware of all this traveling that you're doing as a result of Access Granted.
Yeah. Yeah, like literally I started the year in Hawaii and my videographer and I were out there doing some footage and things like that. And then of course, in May I went to Memphis, so I was out there, kind of had a false start on that, and then came on to Charlotte. So
Hey,
yeah, and in between time and in between, in the meantime, it's like I've been, up to New York and Virginia, and just got back from Vegas celebrating my sister, and so it's been a terribly busy year. I think I was at like maybe 31,000 sky miles last year, and I'm already past that this year.
yes, you've exceeded that. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Wow, I'm so proud of you because what I love about you is your drive and compassion. You have a passion, but you are compassionate to those who are in business. You understand that entire market of, hey, I'm out here, it's me, it's my business, but I need funding. I need the capital. What
Uh-huh.
do we do? And
You know,
the information is there, but nobody knows. So kind of elaborate on why access granted is necessary.
it's like when the pandemic hit, it just kind of threw all of us for a loop.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
41% of all Black businesses shut down,
Wow, wow, wow,
you
wow.
know. Yeah. And a large majority of that was due to funding, right? They didn't have any working capital. So, between, navigating a global pandemic, Black businesses, being shut down at an alarming number. And
Yes.
so, I really felt a pulling from God to find ways to show people how to access that capital. And so I never forget, like I was sitting at home one day and reading my Bible, and the words access and granted kept coming up.
Yes, I recall.
And
Yes, yes, I
I
recall that.
kept on highlighting that. And I know me and you had talked about it free, and then I talked about it with my little sister, and I was just like, access granted. Like, yes, he is granting us access to now this funding. And so, access granted is all about teaching small business owners, entrepreneurs, startups how to access the capital they need to really grow, scale, and sustain their
Wow,
business. Because without the capital, you really just have an expensive hobby, right? So it doesn't
wow.
matter if you love to do something and you're great at doing it if you're not monetizing it. You're
That's
not in business until you monetize it. And so I tell a lot of people, who kind of feel guilty about monetizing their gift. I'm like, as a business owner, you have a moral and fiduciary responsibility
yes.
to make a profit. And not
Mm,
only that, but I believe what God says when he says, he delights in the prosperity of his servant, that he
yes,
wishes above all things that we
yes,
prosper, right? And that
yes,
a worker is worthy of his wages.
yes.
So, yeah, I believe that we should monetize our gifts. And so, again, as people were navigating this pandemic and businesses were shutting down, I just got this, vision of access granted and showing people how to access traditional and non-traditional sources
Yes.
of funding. And so that's how access granted came to be.
That is so amazing because I'm hoping that the business owners really tune in tonight to understand that you're not alone, that
Right.
there's funding available to you, and you do not have to go and say, I need to, what's that so saying? Uh, borrow from Peter to pay Paul, or borrow from
Right.
Peter.
Yeah. Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yes, all of that stuff. Because there's capital that's available, there's
Yeah,
funding available to sustain those that are in business. Wow.
absolutely. Yeah. So there's tons of funding out there. Like, JP Morgan Chase Bank was my official sponsor. And
Wow.
so, they are the number one bank in the United States and they have assets in excess of $3 trillion. And
Mm,
so
my.
last year, 2021, they made a global commitment to deploy $2 billion with Black, Latina, and women owned businesses specifically.
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 Well,
And
that's
so the
the funding that
problem
we
is not that, right. And so the problem is not that the funding isn't out there, it's that most people have no idea
mm,
that the funding is out there and they don't know how to access that funding. But there's plenty of funding available. I mean, all of these banks are making a huge push to get money into communities of color. The government has been making a huge push to make more grants available to for profits and nonprofit organizations.
wow.
And I don't know if you've ever heard this term, there's blood in the water.
There's blood in the water. Wow.
So what that means is anytime you hear investors
Hmm.
say there's blood in the water, that means that we're definitely dealing with a market that has taken a hit. So of course you see, if you're
Hmm.
looking at the stock market and things like that, we've taken a hit all year because gas prices are going up, food prices are going up, right? Tons of inflation, housing market is going up. So basically, what that means is there's blood in the water, meaning what most people see as an obstacle, investors see as an opportunity because they can now take advantage of everything being, grabbing these things at a discount.
Yes. Yes.
And
Wow.
so the smart investors, your Warren Buffetts and things like that, they don't get scared when they see a downturn in the economy because that means there's blood in the water. That means there's plenty of opportunity to take advantage of. And so what I want small business owners and entrepreneurs and startups to understand is that anytime you see, the market take a hit or what we perceive to be a tough market, a fragile market, what all that translates to is there is tons of opportunity out here.
Wow.
And there's probably more funding available now than ever before.
Huh. And people think that there is no funding available.
That's what they
So
think. And
small
trust me, there's
business
plenty.
owners. So this is a good thing for small business owners.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm pretty sure people were like, oh, why are you hosting a conference in the middle of a pandemic, and then not only that, but going after banks and asking them for their money because I realized that there's an opportunity,
Mm,
right? And that these banks are looking to fund organizations because, first of all, it works in their advantage. And let me tell you how it works in their advantage. You had, you know, tons of people leaving the workforce during the pandemic, right? Especially women of color. Black women are still the fastest growing demographic of entrepreneurs in the United States. We create the most jobs. And so, because we were leaving the job market in droves, anytime you're creating a business, you're not an official business until you have a business bank account,
wow.
which means guess what? All the Bank of Americas and all the JP Morgans of the world were thinking, okay, well, if all these women are leaving the workforce and starting their own businesses, they have to come to us to now build new business bank accounts. So it makes perfect sense for us to incentivize them with more money because they're going to bring that money back to our banks,
Wow.
right? Because
Great information.
banks are not in the business of saving money. Banks are in the business of investing money. So all they're doing is taking your money and investing it and making more money. So they're incentivizing you by giving you more money because they know you're going to bring those resources right back to them.
Wow. That is amazing that this information is available but we don't know how to access it. So Access
Right.
Granted is a necessary conference to inform us that there's funding available, and
Yes.
how important is it, Seneca, to establish relationship prior to actually just going in and saying, I want to apply for a loan.
Well, the relationships is key. So, you know how people say it's not about what you know, it's who you know. And I take it
Absolutely.
even further. I say it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you,
Who knows you? That's good.
right? It's
That's
about who
good.
knows you. And so when you're cultivating relationships, relationships build advocacy, and advocacy
Mhm.
gives you access. Advocacy is someone going in on your behalf and making the case, right? So, prime
Yeah.
example, you know, I came to Charlotte, North Carolina in May of this year. Maybe about 2 weeks later, met a young man at a coffee shop who put me in touch with his mentor, who was one of the business banking relationship managers at JP Morgan Chase. So I asked him, I said, hey, can you put me in touch with your mentor? He sent a text, put both of us on there. I reached out
Wow.
to him the very same day and said, hey,
Love it.
listen, I heard so many great things about you from your mentee. He says, you're somebody I should know. I understand that you're one of the business banking relationship managers at JP Morgan Chase. I would love to get a meeting with you next week. He agreed. We met in downtown Charlotte. I told him
Love it.
about my conference, right? And that day, sent him over my pitch deck to show him exactly what will be included in the
Yes.
conference. And literally a month and a half later, he invited me to this invitation only networking event hosted by JP Morgan Chase, where they wanted to talk to
Hmm.
small businesses and entrepreneurs in the community.
In the
And
community.
so I pitched my conference in that meeting. And literally, I pitched maybe at 1:30 p.m. and by 8 p.m. he sent me a text message asking me for my W-9 form because they were ready to sponsor.
Ready to give her the
So,
money she needed, guys.
right, ready to give me the money that I needed. So, was I the smartest person in the room? Was I the most educated person in the room? Was I the
Right.
brightest person?
Mhm.
Probably not. I was probably the boldest person in the room because I was able to ask for what it is that I needed. But the thing was, I had been cultivating a relationship with the gentleman that young man put me in touch with, right? So it wasn't just we had this one meeting and that one meeting went out the window. No, I found him on LinkedIn, started sending him all kind of articles and things like that, showing him information about what I was doing. And guess what? Because I was cultivating that relationship, I now built an advocate. He now was my advocate because he was already on the inside, right? So when it
Yes.
was time to go
Wow.
before those directors, I had someone already on the inside of that organization advocating for me, and that advocation gave me access to the resources I needed.
Mm-mm. You have to
So
be in the right position, correct?
you have to be in the right position, and you have to cultivate relationships with the people who have the resources that you need, right? Wealth
Mhm.
begets wealth.
Wealth begets well. Oh, I love it. I love it. All
Wealth begets
biblical,
wealth.
guys. All biblical. Wow. Wow,
Absolutely.
wow, wow. It's so crucially important that we are in, I always say, forget connections because anyone can make a connection. It's
Right.
divine covenant relationships. I love my divine covenant relationships because we are striving to do the same thing. Our agendas are the same. We want the
That's
best
right.
for one another. But when you have a connection, it's like, okay, you have this that I want to get close to, or you have something I want to become like you, or vice versa. Something, it's a give or take thing. But when it's a covenant, we're working collectively,
That's
collaboratively
right.
together.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
So
I tell people all the time, business is a team sport, right?
yeah, it is.
So
It really
we
is.
need to stop glorifying independence and start magnifying interdependence.
That's it.
Interdependence means that we both bring something to the table, that we're both valuable, but us together collectively, we're
Wow.
stronger and more powerful when we put those resources
Love it.
together.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. I love the way that you explain it. I love the way that you are sharing with us the importance of working together as a team, and not you do your own thing over here, I do my own thing over here, and we think
Yeah.
that we're going to be successful in that manner. And even
Absolutely.
Dr. Walker was on Monday night and he was stating the exact same thing. And this is from a medical perspective, but he also is looking at it from the business perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell
Yeah.
us about the upcoming events for Access Granted, and how, again, is it crucially important that individuals understand that the funding is available?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we had our Access Granted Conference here in Charlotte, North Carolina on September 10th. That was absolutely amazing. And when I tell you, like, the caliber of speakers who were in the room, I mean, there was $1 billion in that room. One of my speakers, his name is Pat Alsey. And so he is an artificial intelligence patent attorney. He's also one of the a wonderful angel investor here in Charlotte. And so, I mean, he has multi-million and billion-dollar clients, right? I had US Bank in the building. I had JP Morgan in the building. I had another gentleman, Reginald Jones, who is one of the directors for the Carolina Small Business Development Fund, which is also a CDFI. So they have a little, their restrictions aren't as tight as traditional banks. So I wanted to make sure that not only were we bringing in the big banks, but we were also taking care of those individuals who might not qualify for traditional funding, right? And so they might be more qualified for CDFI. Um, but also another thing that two other individuals that I brought into the room were ATG Associates, and so that was Marcel and Lester, and so they both deal in the accounting and finance space. Because one of the things that's disqualifying a lot of us from receiving the funding that we need is that our books aren't in order, right? Our paperwork is not in order. So when you're going before these funders and lenders, there's certain things that they're asking you for, right? They might say, hey, we need 2 years of profit and loss statements. We need to see your balance sheet. If an investor, they might ask for a cap table. Most of us don't even know what those things are, let alone we'll be able to produce them when they ask, right? So you've got to have those, you've got to be capital ready. And being capital ready, meaning having those financial documentations in order, right? Also with investors, they're always looking for, hey, do you have a pitch deck, right? Do you have a business plan? These are all of the things that we addressed in the conference, right? So making sure that people know exactly what they need to position themselves for funding when they get to the table, because you want to, I always tell people the best time you want to stay ready, not get ready, right?
Want to stay ready.
You got to stay ready. So when the people are before you, when those investors are there, it should be an easy conversation because you got
Yes.
everything that they're asking for. And so, yeah, so the conference was amazing. We also had Ali and Polly Associates there, and so they deal in the space of showing people how to invest their money,
Yes. How?
right? So it's like, okay, now that we've got this money, how do we keep this money going, and how do we continue to invest it? So we touched a lot of different things, and it was so amazing. So here in Charlotte, we're probably going to do the next conference around March of next year, and
March of
then we'll
next
be coming to Houston in the second quarter.
Yes.
But yeah, I've already got other banks lined up, who will be sponsoring the next tour because they see how valuable this information is and how
Absolutely.
necessary it is for our community, right?
Yes.
There's no way for us to really grow and thrive without building, that wealth in our communities.
In our communities. Wow.
Yeah,
So with that being said, Seneca, you also have held classes where you can tell us how to prepare. So between this conference that was very successful, great feedback, people were really blessed. Businesses now know
absolutely.
how to proceed forward and now how to be in a position. That's very important to be in position to apply. So with that being said, are you planning on some upcoming classes that we can sign up for so we'll know what papers and what the definitions of the terms that you just used? We need to understand that.
Absolutely. So, I have a class that's going to be coming up. It's going to be a challenge, right? So it's going to be the 18th through the 20th, a 3-day challenge. So,
That challenge.
if
I
you,
like
right.
that.
So if you're a small business owner, right, an entrepreneur, a startup, if you're struggling, to access capital for your business, if you have no idea where to look or how to find the capital, this, masterclass or this challenge is for you. If you don't know the right people in your circle, right, then
Yes,
you
come
need to
on.
you gotta be around the people who already have access to the capital. And if you don't qualify for traditional funding, but you still need other funding resources, right? We're going to be
Yes,
addressing that as well. So,
that's
I
awesome.
have kind of this 3-part framework where we'll be addressing and showing you how to access the capital. The first is the power of perception, right? Which is making you aware.
Making
You can't, right, you can't access the funding if you have no idea that the funding is even available. So not only are we going to show you how and where to find the capital you need for your business, but we're also going to teach you what funding options are most appropriate for your business, right? So if you're a nonprofit organization, I might be showing you how to lean more into grants, right? Versus somebody else who might have, you know, um, a a fintech business that's, kind of a unicorn. I might be showing you how to lean more into the venture capital and angel investing side. Or somebody like you, Free, we might be wanting to talk to, one of the bigger banks, one of the smaller
yes,
banks, one of, an angel investor. We might want to, right? There's so many different funding options.
so many.
So,
Wow.
right. So that's the first thing we'll address. And then the next thing we'll be talking about the power of proximity. There's a reason why birds of a feather flock together.
Yes, come on.
Okay. So
Come on, the
because
Eagles.
like
The Eagles, the
like
Eagles.
attracts like, right? Wealth attracts wealth. You're never gonna see a pigeon with an eagle. They have nothing in common, right? And eagles are, they soar high. They don't have any business on the ground with pigeons. So, and the point that I want to make is that if you want to access more capital for your business, you need to be in the room with the people who already have the capital
That's it.
and
That's
and
it.
have the decision making power to make it available to you. So that's
Wow.
one of the reasons why I went after certain people for this conference, because I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that I put my people in the room with decision makers. I'm not talk I don't need the people who sign the back of the checks. I want to talk to the people who sign the front of the check.
Come on, come on, come on. I love
Huge
it. That needs to
difference.
be in the comments. I love the Tan Taters in the comment section. She said birds of a feather flock together. She's agreeing with you. She said eagles soar, be in the room. That's good. So we
That's
we
right.
I want you to go back to
Sure.
the importance of being in position. And what does that look like? Being in
Yeah.
position.
Well, first of all, to be in a position, meaning, you got to have your documentation together. You need to have the qualifying things together, whether that's a pitch deck, your profit and loss statements, your balance sheet, making sure you know how to fill out the applications properly, making sure you know which funding is available and which funding to go after. And the most important piece is, again, that relationship piece. You got to be in the room with the people who have access to the capital. The problem is that most people who are small business owners and entrepreneurs, right? You talking to people who broke. So you sitting here trying to have a conversation about how to invest and how to get the capital that you need. You talking to people who have no idea what you're talking about. You're talking over their head because they don't have any capital.
And maybe no interest in or the zeal that you have to want more and better.
Absolutely. And it's nothing wrong with, you might be around some people who are just as enthusiastic, just as ambition. They might be, entrepreneurs themselves and small business owners. But guess what? If they're not making the type of money that you need in your business, it's kind of counterproductive talking to them because they can't assist you. They can't help you, right? So you need to be talking to people who can make a decision and act on that decision. If you just having a conversation, if you're talking to anybody else, if you're talking to, again, you might be at the bank, but if you're talking to the banker's executive assistant, she can't help you.
She can't help me.
The only thing she
She
can
don't
do
have
is,
my answer.
she does not have your answer. She does not have the power nor the authority to act on your behalf.
Wow,
All she
wow,
can do
wow,
is possibly putting in a good word for you, but you need to be talking to the people who, again, sign the front of the check, who can make a decision. The reason why I was so successful in getting that sponsorship money from JP Morgan Chase is because the directors, the decision makers were in that meeting.
that's right. That's right.
And so I
I love
made
that.
I made it my business to go around and introduce myself personally to
That's it.
every director, every person in that room. And guess what? When I left that room later on that evening, I went on LinkedIn, found everybody that I introduced myself with, made a connection on LinkedIn, introduced myself again. Hey, here's my information if you ever need, right? So I kept continuing to cultivate
That's
that
it.
relationship.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
So if you want capital, you have to do that. The relationships are the most important piece. You can have the best business idea, you can have, the best whatever. If you don't have the right relationships, it does not
it.
matter.
I learned that a while back. You know, we talk. You know, the people that I deal with, that I pick up the phone and I dial the one, like you said, that's writing the check. You know, and because that's who, like you said, hold the power.
Yeah, that's who holds the power. And so you've got to learn. And again, I know, there's a lot of people who aren't comfortable being in those rooms, but you have to get comfortable.
You have to get comfortable.
And
Yes.
guess what? If you're too comfortable, you're probably in the wrong place
Whew.
because
I
that's
said,
not where the
closed
growth
mouth don't get
happens.
fed.
Yeah, that's not exactly. If you
Wow, wow,
again,
wow,
I
wow.
had no, I had one agenda. I had one thing in mind when I went into that room to make sure every director knew who I was and to get funding for my conference. That's all I wanted.
That's
I
all
didn't
you
care about
want.
nothing else.
Wow.
And so when I walked in that room, I walked in there like I owned it.
Mm. You must have the right
I
relationships. You right, Tina.
Yeah, yeah, you got to have the right relationships. That makes
That's a
all the
must.
difference. And so that's one of the things that I teach in my coaching programs is how to cultivate those relationships with decision makers, because how you're going to talk to someone, at that level versus somebody you grew up with is very different. And
If
you've
we're
got
all
to know.
struggling in the same boat, then you don't have
Yeah,
my answer. You you
exactly.
you may have
Exactly.
my direction, but you don't have the answer that I need.
You don't
You
have the
can
answer.
direct
And so
me,
you
but
got to go
here's
to
the
people who have
answer.
the answer. Absolutely.
I am so
Yeah,
grateful that you came on tonight, because those that I tagged in are business owners, directors, and people that are in need of capital funding for their
absolutely.
business, and people who are like minded that want what you're speaking of, but just
Yeah,
say, I don't know what direction to go in. I want to expand my business, or I want to have the funding that I need in order to begin to build my business. So what do I do?
absolutely.
What do I do?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I always tell people you got to work on your mindset because,
Come up, said it
especially in
earlier.
our community, we have
Mm,
this idea that struggle is cute.
yeah,
That
mm,
struggle, like, we glorify struggle and the grind, and you know, I got it out the mud. No, I don't want to get it out of the mud. I want to get it out of bank accounts.
come on now.
I want to get it out of savings accounts. I want to get
Thank
it
you,
out of Roth
T.
IRAs. I want to get it out of the investments. I want to get it out of stocks and bonds and mutual funds and CD. Like, you see what I'm saying? And so we have this
Yes.
whole mentality like we're supposed to grind and struggle and work so hard for the money. Well, first of all, show me where it says that in the Bible.
Thank it's not there.
It ain't there because God says wealth is your birthright. You know what I'm saying? Like again, I mean that you're
Let
supposed to.
us
He
speak.
said, I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Abundantly means having more than enough, having more than
Yes.
enough resources, having more than enough
Yes.
finances, because guess what, when you have more money, you can do more for more people, you can
And,
do more for yourself,
and then you become an asset versus a
and
liability.
versus being a liability, right? You want to be an
I want to
asset
be
to
an asset.
your
I am an
community.
asset.
You want to be an asset, right?
Yes.
He said that a good man leaves
Mm,
an inheritance for his children's children.
yes.
And then
Yes.
a lot of us wonder why we walk around and we not blessed and we don't have the favor of God, because guess what? We don't
Mm,
have anything to leave anybody.
have anything to leave anybody. And you know what? There are so many individuals that I know are excellent chefs. I'm not going to call them cooks, chefs. But what's stopping them from having their restaurant or their place, their food truck, is capital. That's the only
Yeah,
thing. Because they don't know how to get started or where to go to get what they need.
yeah.
So I would like to know when you do your next class, and Tan Tate has has actually placed in the comment section how to contact you, you know, your links and things. But I
Okay.
don't even know, when you do your next class, I would be glad to, you know, help advertise, promote. Okay, she just went out, but that's okay. Seneca Dunmore is planning a class that's coming up soon. She'll be back in shortly. A class because she's going to be able to tell everyone in more detail the steps that you need in order to expand your business. Seneca has that information. I was just sharing with them that you're getting ready to create a class. And I'm suggesting that if you're a serious business owner or a director of a company, you a bank president, whatever your position is, and you want to learn how to get this funding that's available, Seneca Dunmore is your person.
Absolutely.
She's your
And
person.
again, that's what, that's what I love to do, is something that I've done, and I'm not and I always tell people, I'm not telling you what I heard, I'm telling you what I've
What
done,
she
right?
knows. What she
So
knows.
exactly. Like, again, me and you, Free, we worked for
Oh
the
yeah,
same nonprofit at one point, right? And I work with
absolutely.
one of the best, grant writers, and she and I worked
That's true.
on garnering over $5.6 million for
That's right.
that digital literacy program
That's
that I
right.
helped to write,
That's right.
right? Not only that, but I had one of my clients who secured her first six-figure deal in
Yes.
2021 in at the
Yes.
height of the pandemic, right?
Real
I
deal.
secured my own funding for my own conference
That's
from the
it.
number one bank
That's
in the
it.
United States. So I tell people, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I've done and what I've helped other people to
Yes.
do.
Yes.
That's what makes the difference.
Track
And
record.
so, and exactly, and I've cultivated relationships with the decision makers, with the people who have access to the capital. So if I put my name on it, right? If I'm advocating for someone, you best believe you need to be in position, because I'm not going to destroy the relationships that I've built behind someone who ain't ready.
Love my relationships. Love my covenant relationships. We talked
That's
about
right.
that earlier.
Yeah.
And
And
we
again,
understand you can walk in the favor of God, and you can have what you say, and you can move in a way that, you
you
know,
sure can.
and you know, it's so much to this thing. It's so much to this thing.
And you can have it. Like I said, you can have it. The funding is out there. There is no shortage of funding. There is no shortage of resources. You've got investors out here who are looking for people to invest in. You've got banks out here who are trying to get people qualified for this funding because it's in their best interest to get rid of the money. Not only that, but I always tell people,
It's true.
October, November, December, the last quarter of the year is the best time to ask for money, because this is the fiscal year. People need to get the excess money off their books so that they can start budgeting and planning for next year. So all of the money that they had that they had allocated for this year, they have to get it off their books before 2023. So if you've got some type of conference, if you got some type of nonprofit, if you got some type of business that you're in position to get funding, people are looking for you because they've got to get this money off their books.
I just love it because you've been teaching this for years, and people just seem to not understand. It is who you know and who has the knowledge that make it applicable to your next step in your business.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
so amazing the time that people waste because the appearance of someone who knows. That tickles me all the time. I really chuckle at that because
Right.
you need to go to who has the
The
standing
resources and the
power,
funding.
the
And you
resources.
got to remember that these people, they're just people. I know we put people on pedestals because, oh, he's a
Wrong.
multimillionaire and he's worth this much. Guess what? He is a human being.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
so, he's not above you. He's not better than you, right? He might have more resources and access, which means you need to get in front of that type of person and just speak from your heart and be confident when you do, because
Mm,
they want to help. Most of those individuals want to help.
so
Like
simple.
I can't wait until I can play some of the video clips from the conference where
Yes, I
some of the
can't wait.
investors were like, we want to give the money away. We want to help.
With just the little clip that you did show last week, I was like, yes, another successful conference, another informational resource. So when do you have like a timeline we can start project the projected date for Houston's because people that's in this area, in the Houston area, I mean, you're in North Carolina now, right?
Yeah.
You're in
Hmm.
Charlotte, North Carolina. So
Yes.
I'm in Texas. So people in this area need to know when you're coming this way.
It will probably be like May, June time frame.
Okay.
It'll be in the summer. It'll be in the summer.
But you don't have to wait, guys. She's going to do like a preparation class, correct?
Yes, right. Absolutely. So we'll do a challenge. And
Okay.
that will be October 18th through the 20th. And I'll make sure I share that link with free so you guys can have it. Of course, I'll be posting it on my social media. But yeah, if you're a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a startup and and you're having trouble accessing the capital, or you don't know where the capital is, or you don't know how to cultivate relationships, right? You don't know how to, prepare your own proposal or create a pitch deck. You need to be in this master class. You need to be a part of this challenge because we're going to be going through all of that.
So you're
And
gonna host
again,
a
the
master
only
class.
yeah, uh-huh. So that, like I said, the only thing keeping you from the resources is you, nothing else.
Wow, I love it. That resources that are available.
That's right. That are available.
Wow, I love it, and they are, and they are. Again, it's
They
just
are.
knowing, and we've learned this. I'm gonna say this. This is so funny because the people that really have your answers are some of the people that people walk past every day.
Absolutely.
They're,
Absolutely.
they're
And
so
and you're too
like
afraid to
that.
open your mouth. Yeah. And I always tell people, so and this is the thing, you know, it takes
Wow.
some work.
Yeah.
But this is what I always tell people. When I started working on Access Granted here in Charlotte, I can't tell you how many people slammed the door in my face, right? Or didn't return my phone
No.
calls, didn't respond to my emails. So people are like, "Well, Seneca, how is it that you didn't get discouraged, and how did you keep pushing on?" Because I said all I needed was one yes.
Just that one yes.
All I needed was one yes. I didn't need the approval of everybody. I just needed one yes. And guess what?
And the
My
right
yes came
yes.
from yeah. And my yes came from the number one bank in the United States. So guess what? Now that I've got their advocacy, now all the other banks who wasn't giving me the time of day, now everybody want to jump on board.
Well, you know how that
And
goes
I'm
because
cool
now
with
they
it.
know the truth.
Thank you. Because again, they wanted to see some social proof. Hey, listen, I ain't mad. I gave you the social proof that you were looking for. So
Yeah.
yeah. So don't get discouraged. Um, and there's a reason why the top is not crowded. Why you only have so many millionaires and billionaires, right? Because most people get discouraged when things don't work out their way the first or second or third time around, right? They think that, oh, this must not be for me. Maybe God is punishing me. They start bringing up their past, and maybe this is not working out because of something I did. Listen, God is not petty. God is not holding anything against you.
Oh, not at all.
He's not holding anything against you. And, you know, again, when you're receiving all of that opposition or whatever, you're probably moving in the right direction.
Uh,
Because you gotta remember that we
that
have a
one,
very real enemy out here who does not want to see us
that's right.
thrive, who does not want to see us succeed. So he gonna throw everything at you to keep you
Everything.
from moving forward.
Well,
And
he
you've
loves
gotta
the
you
moving
gotta have tough
targets.
skin.
Yeah, yes, but he loved the moving targets.
Oh yeah,
He's not worried about
yeah.
somebody who's just not no mobility, not moving or anything like that.
That's right. He's not worried about the people who comfortable. He wants you to be comfortable. See, the people who are uncomfortable, those moving targets, the people who are making it happen, those are the
Right.
people he after.
Wow. And then it's
So
all
yeah,
about the way that you move about the cabin. Also, you have
that's
to
right.
remember it's the way you move too now. You know, I prefer to move in silence and do things. I mean, like we talked about the foundation been around 12 years, and a lot of people didn't know because it was the way it was moving, but the success and the evidence of the success was present and available. People were being serviced and things were happening, but it was the
Yeah,
way that I flowed, the way I moved about the cabin. I didn't
right.
need to let everybody know what was happening
Absolutely.
along the
Absolutely.
way. Yeah,
That's true.
there's a lot of things
That's
you
true.
had to move in silence.
Oh
You
yeah,
had to move
yeah.
in
Cause
silence to get some things done.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
But she's going to tell
So
you how to financially get what you need in order. So stay
yeah.
tuned for the 3-day challenge.
Yes, a 3-day challenge. It'll be starting October 18th through the 20th. And so, like I said, you'll start seeing that pop up on all over my social media. I'm the easiest person to find in the world.
Yeah,
Seneca
sure.
Dunmore, SenecaDunmore. I'm like, you'll find me on all social media platforms, YouTube, all of that. I'm the easiest person to find in the world. So if you need anything from me, let me know.
I'm actually typing that in as Seneca Dunmore. And the
Yep.
classes are great. I think Tan is still on the line. Tan, can you just put a brief testimonial in the comments about what she taught you in the class of just getting in position in the preparation process that you need order to be able to present to these companies? Because you just can't go in and say, I want to apply for $10 million.
Right.
And you're going to talk to him about the pexel, the pitch, how you pitch your business, all of
That's
those things.
right.
We're going to teach you all of
Absolutely.
that in those 3-day challenge from October
That's
the
right.
18th through October the 20th.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. Thank you again for coming on, Seneca. Leave
My
us
pleasure.
uh, your nuggets, because we need to hear those nuggets,
Yeah,
wisdom nuggets
absolutely.
about what we need to be. So let me say this before you go forward with
Yes.
your wisdom nuggets. I want you to do it in this structure so that people can be in position, because October 18th is going to be here like tomorrow. So prepare them. What do they need to be getting in alignment now for your class?
The mind, your mind.
The mind first,
Yeah, start
paperwork.
preparing your mind. I would encourage you to do this. Um, Search out every Bible verse that deals
Come
with
on.
wealth, abundance, and prosperity. Just start feeding your spirit with that. And so that by the time you get to me, right, then we're not tackling that mindset. Now you're in position to receive it, because you got to first believe that you deserve it. So this whole thing about, soon and very soon we're gonna see the king and in the sweet by and by and all that. Listen, David said, I would have fainted lest I believed I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the what?
Living.
The living, not the land of the dead.
Come
God,
on.
God, God, didn't- God is not a God of dead prosperity. He's a God of
At all.
living prosperity, meaning you should be receiving all of that on this side while you're living.
I love it. So
So
we're
you
gonna
got
get
to
the
first
mind
believe that you
order.
deserve it.
Yeah, and you have to believe that. Let me put the dash. You must believe that you deserve it.
That's right.
That's true. So we're saying here that get your mind in order, then search the scriptures of wealth that the Father has already planned for us, for His
Mm-hmm.
people. Prosperity is His plan for us, and
That's
He
right.
says that the blessings of the Lord make it rich and add it no sorrow. So
That's
when there's
right.
something sorrowful, I tell them cut it out and get rid of it. So
That's
the
right.
next thing is you must believe that you deserve. So what's the last thing you want to give to us to add to this?
And again, remember, wealth is a team sport. Business is a team sport. So kill this whole mindset of I've got to do it by myself. Kill this whole mindset of I got to bootstrap and I got to get it out the mud and I got to get it by myself. God never designed it that way. Even when he sent the disciples out, he always sent them out two by two. He never
Come
sent them out
on.
alone. So if you want to start growing your business, start scaling your business and sustaining your business, realize that it's going to take a collective effort. It's going to take more than you to grow your business. It's going to take teamwork, a collective effort of capable and competent individuals. And so the sooner you start getting in the presence of those individuals, the sooner you start cultivating those relationships, literally you'll start seeing things turn around.
All true. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm typing in the things that you have said, and I said that you must know. I think I typed it in. You do not have to do it alone, and you must know. I said the T. I didn't mean to put the T. I said you must. Oh, you do not have to do it alone. You do not
No,
have to
mm-mm,
do this
right?
alone, and you must know the team. That's what I was trying to type in there. You must
Yeah,
know your team. Yeah, that's crucially important. You must know your team,
yeah,
and the
right.
resources that are available. I am just so grateful for this information. As always,
Absolutely.
we need to hear this. We need to know that, yeah, okay. Okay, she was saying to someone, they're telling someone to replay them. Yes, they can replay them. You can always find them on YouTube. You can
Yeah.
always go to YouTube and find any of the things that is going forth. I was trying to find what I typed in there to get it out. But yeah, we need to definitely know your team, know how to go forward. And Seneca has given you great wisdom nuggets. So without holding you any further, you can go back and replay the tape and get the wonderful wisdom nuggets that you provided for us from the start to the end. And so look forward to the 3-day challenge, October the 18th through the 20th.
Yes.
Seneca Dunmore can be found on all social media platforms. She's very open and kind-hearted and wants to help. She wants to see
Yes.
you. But I strongly suggest that if you fly to the next city, where she's going to have another Access Granted conference, or if you want to wait to Houston, or just talk to her. She's a wonderful coach. She's a coach that has results, evidence of helping people become effective speakers. They become international speakers, amazing, effective coaches. And you'll see evidence of what she's doing. Love you, dear, so much.
Love you too, Free.
Rest.
Yeah.
All that traveling. But more importantly, thank you again for providing us the wisdom nuggets that we need in order to be successful business people. It's really a
Absolutely.
saying. You and I've talked about this for years, that we say we're business owners, but we have nothing to show for it.
That's
And
right. Yeah.
we have to cultivate those important relationships.
That's right.
We can't stress that part enough.
That's
So
right. That's
thank
right.
you again, Seneca. Get some rest.
I will. Thank you.
Oh, I tell you, I love Seneca Dunmore. Again, you can find her on all social media platforms. Thank you again, Tan Tape. I thank everyone who tuned in tonight. I love again my sponsors. Come on, uh, come on, man. Cajun Seasoning. I thank you for your support, and the other sponsors that I can't announce their names right now, but I thank you, and I thank you for the faithful listeners. As always, I promise you, Simply Free Little Talk is bringing you information that you can use and cause you to become the better version of yourself. That's our goal, and I'm so excited about what's coming next. Be blessed and have a wonderful night.